So you've got the mindset of I'm offended. So what does that lead to if you want an unfair advantage? This is right here is the unfair advantage. So how do you get an unfair advantage based off the mindset of being offended? The SJW, mob and mindset. It's basically like forming an internal internet troll army. For the last couple days, I've been doing some pretty big presentations around how, it's almost like some power players in the tech world, the internet world, the Silicon Valley world, and the big tech giant corporation world. Redundant, I know. Some of those big players try to train trolls. They try to train a mob of SJW thinkers that go around and say, I'm offended, you must be deleted. Now, if you don't think that some of the bigger people that have been deleted lately don't fit this mindset, Mr. A to the J himself, if you don't think he doesn't fit this, what happened to him does not fit this mindset, you are entirely wrong. That is the basis for how they deleted him. This video is massive. I don't know the effect that it'll have. I hope to God it goes so viral, but you know how it always goes. The worst videos go viral, and the most telling or the most realistically effective telling of the shitty society we live in, those videos do not go viral anymore. And they used to go viral all the time. So what am I saying? I'm saying that Google, through really specific psychological study, realized that if they want to affect the world, they could get Hillary elected, because she would affect all of their type of censorship regulation. She would affect the type of internet landscape they wanted. Now, just because of their actions, their facial expressions, the way they talk, they are butthurt from all holy hell at the fact that Hillary lost and Mr. Donald President Trump won. I don't give a shit about politics. You know this about me. But what I will say is, I think they're trying to find a way to fight back. They're definitely censoring one side's voice while prepping and propelling the other through the change of the algorithm, okay? I find that the only virality anyone like me, Isaac, or anyone else has who just tries to get the real info out there, Roy Potter, other people, Kev Baker, the only time we get videos out into the viral world is when we share it ourselves and other people share it for us, or another content creator shares a video of ours, right? What I'm trying to say is, if you, after hearing this video on Isaac Green's YouTube channel titled Google Bias Exposed in a Leaked Video, if you watch this and you cannot see how this explains the landscape we are in now of massive censorship, and they are prepping for more. They are setting not only regulation in the United States, but in the EU and across the world for more censorship, more violation of our free rights, our free speech as a public, to conform to the global society narrative and to conform to giving back power to the mainstream media. And if you can't see that after watching this video, my friends, I have to say this: you are dead asleep.
They're full of fear about the future.
I certainly find the selection deeply offensive, and I know many of you do too. It's a very stressful time, and it conflicts with many of our values. Immigrants or minorities, women,
blacks, people who are afraid based on religion, the LGBTQ community.
I would just advise us all to be calm.
Because of Google's huge presence on the internet, Facebook and Google accounting for 99% of all digital ad revenue growth in 2017 in the US, there's already been speculations in the past of Google having a political bias, a left-leaning skew, withholding or censoring information that doesn't go along with the pre-approved narrative that Google is trying to push onto the population.
I think what Google and what others are doing, if you look at what's going on at Twitter, if you look at what's going on in Facebook, careful because you can't do that to people. You can't do it. We have literally thousands and thousands of complaints coming in, and you just can't do that. So I think that Google and Twitter and Facebook.
Now, what this means is we finally have an explanation for why this censorship and anti-free speech thought process is injected into our society from all fronts. I'm a little surprised when I see it injected into video games. I know a lot of you guys don't like video games. What I'm about to tell you has nothing to do with video games. It has to do with our rights being stripped from us. The word white man Battlefield 5. When you type it into their live chat, they censor it. It is insane. I showed you this video from Angry Joe where he typed in white man and it becomes fully censored. He types in other like Asian man, black man, and it's perfectly fine. He types in, and then to go even further, we see that big tech tries to censor every part of their chat now. They would not have been able to do this in the past. They would only, if you censor around trying to stop people from saying really, really offensive racial slurs and things like that, no one would care. They'd say, good, okay, awesome. Now, a lot of people even would stand up and say, don't censor anything, dude. Let us decide what we want to see. Give a profanity filter in the options. Give us the damn option to do what we want inside the damn game. There is a narrative shift. And you gotta realize that it's nefarious when they run around preaching about equality, when they run around preaching about how everything should be equal, people should be equal. We shouldn't have bad thoughts that put another person down or another group of people down. But even though they're shouting equality from the tops of the fucking mountains, they are censoring based on the popular majority. Guys, I don't like sitting here and saying this to you, but there is a blatant, so they don't even care to hide it anymore, agenda to take society. They don't care what we think because we are people that think differently than the mainstream. We are willing to open our minds, educate ourselves, talk to each other, consider all sides. We are willing to come to an actual, well-educated, rounded view. Now, when you want to stand up and say, yeah, big tech companies can censor words like white men and then not censor Asian men. The question isn't why they're not censoring Asian men or black men. The question is, why are they censoring white men? And the most telling thing here, the word Nazi is being censored. Now, hear this. In a World War II game, where the other players are playing on the German or Nazi side, fighting against the Allied side. It is, I want to say they're moving to try to erase certain events from history. And how do you do that? It seems complicated. It's really not. You have to affect a new generation. They don't give a shit about the older generation. The older generation's not going to be here forever. You affect a new generation with a way of thinking by targeting them through things like video games, through things that they use on social media and other things like that. You take out parts of history, you take out words, you take out thought processes that you're not allowed to have. You do not educate people on why and let people make the mistake of being prejudiced and racist, and you don't educate them on why they shouldn't be that way. You blatantly censor it to cause the effect you want. Let the older people, they're going to be too old to even care here in about 20 or 30 years. We got to affect the new generation. Now, the problem is you start to see this kind of fucked up way of thinking that starts to be cultivated. Have you ever heard of an incel? We like watching incel videos here on Unirock too, because they're the funniest damn videos ever. But the incels are a condition of this censorship society. Not just incels. not just very hateful new groups of young people, are not a condition of just their angst against the government or their growing up and learning things. It's also magnified a million times over when the censorship mob comes, because I'm going to tell you this right now. You and I both know when they start censoring an idea, a thought process, that is the type of thought process that is fostered in the majority of people. They may walk around on the street. They may act the way that the government expects them to. They may complain against the things that the government expects them to, just like these tech companies, just like the government is right now, saying, hey, now, you can't, demonize and you can't put down a group of people. But when they get back to their homes, when they're with their friends, when no one's looking, or when they're in a small group, or when they're in a group of like-minded people, they're going to do things just like the big tech companies are doing and censor things like the biggest majority, when really that biggest majority is an illusion. Next up. An organization needs to get involved to change this. An organization needs to get involved. This needs to be changed. You are right, Bluto. But I say that the organization that needs to be involved is us. I think that the only way that we are ever going to affect anything, we are in a different landscape. It is my assertion to you that the only way to stop these censorship, and forgive me, Nazis, these history erasing, forgive me, Orwellian society, corporate tyrannical dictators, the only way we're going to fight them is to hit them where it hurts them the most. Professionally, in a nice way, taking the money away. So what